Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for joining me in this live stream. All right, so we just got some new information out of the Social Security Chief Actuary on Social Security, and some bold predictions are being made right now, which I want to talk through here in this short live stream simply because this is kind of a confusing topic when it comes down to it. There's a lot of moving parts around this. So I really want to spend some time here in this video to break down exactly what the actuary said around Social Security, what this means for the beneficiaries, a lot of different information there, by the way, and what this means for Social Security as a whole going forward over the next few years here, and some of the massive changes that are coming out. So we're going to talk about all of that, okay? I'll try to explain this in such a way that is clear, concise, straight to the point. Hopefully this is not too confusing. As always, drop some comments down below. If you're watching this live right now, that's awesome. Thanks for joining me. If you're watching the replay on this, that's awesome too. Again, drop some comments down below. If you have any questions on this, again, let me know. I have no problem whatsoever coming back in a dedicated video or in a separate live stream and talking through the details on this. Just let me know what I can do for you, okay? All right, so let's jump into this. Now, first off, let me define what the chief actuary actually is, because you might be thinking, I don't even know what that word means, and that's okay. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it, okay? But let me explain this. Okay, so within Social Security, obviously, there's a bunch of different officials and a bunch of different people within Social Security. One of the individuals within Social Security is called the chief actuary. What that is basically, let's just say this, the person that runs all the math, the statistics, the demographics, and watches all the numbers and basically all of the money coming in, all the money going out, and also making predictions and basically mathematical calculations on everything revolving around the finances of Social Security and giving these long-term projections. Now, the actuary is probably not watching the day-to-day, the week-to-week, maybe the month-to-month, but certainly the year-over-year activity within Social Security. They're certainly gathering all of this data, and they're using this to basically form different projections on what's going to happen within Social Security over the long term, okay? So that's kind of what it is. Basically, think of it this way. Somebody that's very good with math, statistics, demographics, and running projections over long periods. That's what the actuary does, okay? Very important role within Social Security, especially when you have the biggest, the largest program in this country, in the history of this country, that sends out ongoing monthly checks to 74 plus million people every single month, month in and month out, and 11,000 new people are becoming eligible every single day for the next few years here. Again, we're seeing the largest cohort of the baby boom generation that is literally moving through right now, becoming eligible for Social Security. It's a huge percentage of our population. And again, I say that all the time. These numbers are wild to discuss and look at. It's just very fascinating to see all this. I find it to be anyway, which is probably why I talk about this literally every single day, because I just find it to be so fascinating talking about Social Security and everything within it. So anyway, okay, now let me talk about the details of this announcement out of the Social Security Chief Actuary, what this individual indicated, and what this all means for Social Security, okay? Now, by the way, I just want to say this super fast here. I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm not here to instill fear in anybody. I'm not here to instill worry in anybody whatsoever, okay? We've got nothing to worry about with this program for several years. However, I think we all recognize, okay, I think if we didn't recognize this, we'd be like a bunch of ostriches, which are with our heads stuffed into the sand, you know, completely oblivious to what's going on around us. We don't want to be that ostrich, right? Stick our head out in the air and see what's going on. We need to know what's going on, okay? You've got nothing to worry about right now, but in the next handful of years here, we got a major issue on our hands. Okay, anyway. So remember a couple months ago, oh, by the way, to put this into context, today is Tuesday, September, what is the date? 2nd? Yeah, September 2nd. Yesterday was Labor Day. It's about, I don't know, maybe 6:30-ish, maybe, give or take a little bit when I started this live stream, East Coast time. I like to give that in a perspective just because I have people that reach out saying, is this really live? Yeah, if you're watching this here right now, this is live. You may be watching the replay, but that's a little timestamp so you know when I started this, just so you have that as context. Okay, anyway. So let's talk about this announcement out of the chief actuary. Okay, this is super important. Okay, remember back in June, so a couple months ago, we got the annual Social Security Board of Trustees annual report. This is a report that comes out generally kind of around mid-April to kind of mid-June each year, kind of between that couple months time frame there. We get this report out one time per year. The Social Security Board of Trustees annual report. They come out with this report. They give us all kinds of information on the finances of Social Security, what's going on with the trust funds, both of them, the Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund as well as the Disability Trust Fund, the potential insolvency date, which actually means when the trust fund will be out of money, how much benefits will need to be cut at that time, and the list goes on and on. Those are some of the key takeaways out of it. Now, I've talked about all of that before in other videos over the last couple months here. We've covered all of that, okay? Anyway, now, here's what happened. So a couple months ago, during the Board of Trustees annual report, we got some information out suggesting that benefits in the event of insolvency right around 2033, early 2033 is likely when insolvency would be happening. Okay, insolvency, remember, that's when the trust fund, in other words, the savings account for Social Security, runs dry, runs out of money. And then at that point, they can only pay out the amount of money coming in through their 3 income sources, which at that time, it'd be down at 2. They would lose one of their income sources if the trust fund goes insolvent. But at that point, they would only be able to pay out money to beneficiaries that is coming in through their sources of income, right? So a quick example being, they bring in $1 million in a month, which, by the way, it's way more than that. I'm just using this as a simple round number. They bring in $1 million in a month. They can only pay out $1 million to beneficiaries, okay? It's way more than $1 million. I'm just saying that as a simple little placeholder, but that's kind of how it goes, okay? But since they're going to be bringing in significantly less money than what actually needs to be paid out to the beneficiaries to continue paying out 100% of the benefit, they would need to cut the benefits substantially in order to basically say, hey, we got $1 million that came in, we can only pay out $800,000, or no, whatever. You get my point on that. They bring in $1 million. Again, example, the liability that they have would be, say, $1.5 million. In example here, and then they can only pay out, a portion of that. They'd have to cut benefits to fulfill basically the money that they have coming in. Does that kind of make sense, right? Okay, so anyway, with that annual Board of Trustees report that we got, depending on how they do this with the trust funds, they would have to cut benefits between 19 and 23%, okay? If they combine the trust funds, cut of 19%. If they don't combine the trust funds, a cut of 23%, okay? And again, I've talked about all this before in other videos. But anyway, and then they said insolvency early-ish 2033. That's about 7.5 years from now. Okay, 7.5-ish years from now, give or take a little bit. It's not that far away, especially when we hear all these reports out there, the mainstream media and all these other people coming out saying, no, we've got 10 years. We've got 9 to 10 years until insolvency. No, we don't. We've got 7.5 in the best case scenarios. Best case scenario, 7.5 years, and we're out of money within Social Security, okay? That's the reality of this. However, remember, the Board of Trustees annual report was released in June. What happened a few weeks later? The OBBB, the huge reconciliation bill, was signed into law, okay? Remember, within that, they also have this additional $6,000 deduction on the federal tax return for seniors aged 65 and over. Now, why do I care about that? Well, first off, it's awesome for seniors who can take advantage of that. Number one, it's a really, really cool thing for a lot of seniors. Obviously not everybody, but it's going to be cool. Now, why do we care about this? This is going to reduce the tax liability for a lot of seniors, which honestly is really, really good, right? I saw a lot of people reaching out recently on a short that I posted the other day. People reaching out saying, this is double taxation. Why are we paying taxes again on our monthly benefit? We got taxed when the money went in. We're paying taxes when we spend the money, called sales tax, property tax. They have all these cute names for taxes now. Have you seen that, right? A use tax, a convenience tax. I love the convenience tax, right? That one always gets me. I always feel like, who are you conveniencing it? You're conveniencing who? You're taxing me, a percentage or whatever, and you call it a convenience? That's not a convenience to anybody. It's not a convenience to me, right? You know what I mean? So I love the convenience name. That's a real slimy name to put on there. But anyway, you get my point. But the situation here is that the $6,000 deduction, okay, for seniors is going to reduce the tax liability. Awesome for seniors, bad for Social Security. Reason being is last year alone, Social Security collected $55 billion in taxation on Social Security benefits. In other words, seniors paid taxes into Social Security when they were working through payroll taxes. And then when they collected their benefit, another $55 billion was collected last year alone from seniors. Okay, that's nasty. We shouldn't be going after seniors. They worked their whole life paying tons and tons of taxes, piles, mountains of taxes, and then they're retired and we're saying, let's go after them again? I don't know. Something about that seems very bad. Something about that seems like very predatory. I don't know. Can I use that word? I'm going to anyway. I don't really care if I can or not. I'm going to say it anyway because that's the fact, right? So anyway, they collected that $55 billion last year, okay? A lot of that's going to be, not all of it, but a bunch of it will be evaporated from a source of income for Social Security for at least the next 4 years, okay? Well, as a result of this, because of that $6,000 deduction between now and through 2028, again, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, these 4 years, that $6,000 deduction and adjusted for inflation each year will be adjusted higher. Point being is that less money going into Social Security as they're already living off of a pretty strained budget. Social Security, that I mean, okay? So anyway, less money will be going in. Meanwhile, the workforce continues to deplete and diminish. Smaller and smaller percentage of people of our population that's actually working. That means less and less money going into the Social Security Trust Fund, and Social Security funding continues to get lower and lower and lower. Make sense? Okay? I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm here to tell you the facts. All right, so anyway, the Social Security Board of let me say that again. The Social Security Chief Actuary was recently out and predicted after the signage of the OBBB back on the 4th of July and this $6,000 extra deduction for seniors, this is actually going to bring insolvency of the trust fund a quarter sooner. Okay, what I mean by that is that insolvency was pegged for the first quarter of 2033. Okay, now insolvency is pegged for, according to the chief actuary, the fourth quarter of 2032. 2032. Okay, now you might be thinking, oh, that's so far away. Let's look at a calendar. Well, let's actually not look at a calendar. Let's just look at it really quickly here. Okay, so here I am, September 2nd, 2025, as I host this live stream right now. Okay, maybe you're watching the replay some other time. September 2nd as I host this. Okay, in a month from now, or actually October 1st, will be the beginning of the fourth quarter 2025. And I just said the chief actuary is predicting in insolvency, in other words, the trust fund is empty as of the fourth quarter 2032. That's 7 years away. 7 years. Only 7 years, okay? So when you hear your mainstream media and you hear all these other knuckleheads out there saying, oh, we've got 10 years. We've got 10 years. No, we don't. We have 7 years in the best case scenario. 7 years. That goes very, very fast. I think we all recognize, right? Just think of this. It's already been 5.5 years since we dealt with the whole stay at home and watch, movies in your pajamas and we'll all get checks, right? That was 5.5 years ago already. Can you believe that? It feels like it was just like not that long ago, right? It was not that long ago. And we're still dealing with the ramifications of that today, as in high inflation. We're still dealing with that. And that was 5.5 years ago, if you can believe that. Time goes so fast, right? So 7 years in the best case scenario here before we see insolvency within the trust fund. That's a serious situation, okay? Now, 7 years is still a significant amount of time. Don't get me wrong. But I want to point something else for you as well, as we have kind of this double whammy coming after Social Security. Now, this might be outside the realm of interest for some of you here in this community, and that's okay. This may be over the head of some people, and that's totally okay. But let me just point this out super fast. I'm sure you've heard about this, but this is proliferating at an exponential rate. It is happening so fast beyond what any of us can comprehend, okay? I'm going to say this much. I don't understand this nearly at the capacity that I wish I did. I'm researching this feverishly every single day, and I still am like, this is advancing way faster than I can understand this thing. What am I talking about? AI, artificial intelligence. It is nuts how fast this is expanding. Okay, and you might be thinking, I don't know what that means. Um, it's nuts. Like very sophisticated computers, very smart computers that are way smarter than humans, and they're going to be ruling the world in a matter of years. Here's the thing: the first AI chatbot, ChatGPT, was released 2.5 years ago. In early, I think it was in March. I could be wrong a little bit. It was in early 2023, like 2.5 years ago. Like a lot of things are being replaced with AI right now. It is nuts. If we fast forward 1 year, 2 years, or even 3 years, the landscape in 1 to 3 years is going to be wildly different than what we're currently living in right now. And we might be thinking, like, no, it's not going to change that much. It's going to be nuts. The number of people that are unemployed and no longer employable is going to be ridiculously high, like scary high. Reason being is we're already seeing it now in the jobs reports that come out every month. We're already starting to see it, the replacement of humans with AI. We're seeing it. We're seeing different jobs, different sectors of individuals completely being eliminated and basically out of a job because they're being replaced with chatbots and literally automation, things like that, right? First off, let me give you a quick example. This is not totally AI, but it's kind of the same concept. Remember last October, the whole longshoreman strike with all the port workers along the east and southern coasts, right? You remember all this whole thing? It was like a major threat to our supply chains, and they had this strike. They went on strike, and I think that was maybe did they go on strike or maybe they went on a shutdown. Whatever it happened, it was last October. They went on this shutdown. It was like I don't know, 20 or 30,000 workers, and they were going to be basically they were negotiating their contract because the port owners wanted to come in and implement automation, and the port workers were saying, no, 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 you're not implementing automation, and they're saying this is the way of the world, we need to do this. They wanted to renegotiate their contract. It was a major issue for like, I don't know, a month or two or whatever. I don't remember exactly how long it was. I covered it at the time. It was a major issue. But the whole situation that happened then was around automation. Same thing here, okay? Same thing. Automation, robotics, AI, sophisticated computers, basically human-like computers that are taking over the jobs of humans. Here's the thing. I guarantee you, every single person that's watching this live stream right now or that is going to be watching this replay has already dealt with AI, and I guarantee you didn't even know about it, okay? I bet you've gone on to, you've made a phone call, you've written an email, you've chatted with one of these customer service reps or something like that. You've called somewhere. I guarantee you, every single one of us, you've received a phone call and it sounded like a human. I get AI calls literally daily, literally daily. You pick up the phone, it sounds just like a person, but you can tell after you talk to her for like a second, it's actually a bot. It's literally a bot that you're talking to, but it's a human voice and it sounds just like a human. It's scary, okay? I guarantee you every single person that's watching this has already done this and you probably didn't even know about it. It's scary how sophisticated this stuff is getting, okay? Point being is that AI is taking over everything. It's going to be nuts. If we look back in 3 years from now, back to this conversation, if we watch this live stream in 3 years from now, in 3 years from now would be September 2nd of 2028. If we come back and watch this video in 3 years, I think we're going to be like scary shocked how different the world is in just a few years. Okay, now that I'm done with that little rant there, why do we care? Here's why we care. Who pays all the money, or I should say the vast majority of the money into Social Security? Is it AI? No. Is it robots? No. Is it sophisticated computers? No. Is it bots? No. It's humans. It's humans working, right? It's humans working. Look at your pay stub. You see something on your pay stub that says FICA, F-I-C-A. What is that? Social Security taxes. That's what it is. That is the money going into Social Security, the trust fund, as well as into Medicare. That's where that money comes from. In fact, last year alone, 2024, Social Security brought in about $1.4 trillion in the form of Payroll taxes. That is by far their biggest source of income. $1.4 trillion last year from Social Security payroll taxes. They brought in about $69 billion last year from interest on the money in the trust fund, about $2.7 trillion, actually $2.72 trillion to be exact, according to the Social Security Board of Trustees annual report, and then $55 billion from taxation of Social Security benefits. So you can see there, the payroll taxes, that's where they get basically all of their money. Without payroll taxes, Social Security would be insolvent in a flash, right? In a jiffy, in a jiffy, they would be insolvent in no time whatsoever. Point being, okay, if we see this implementation of AI, sophisticated computers, automation, robotics, things like this, bots, in other words, taking over and basically replacing the jobs of tens of millions of people, which they will, and it's not going to be long. It's already happening right now. Okay, we're already seeing it in the reports. And when we see this happen here over the coming years, we see 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 plus, 50 plus million people out of a job because they've been replaced by AI. Well, where does Social Security get their money? Again, payroll taxes, humans working, right? If they don't get this figured out, this insolvency timeframe and this insolvency timeline is going to be shortened dramatically. So as of right now, and as I just said a few minutes ago, actually it's a little while ago now, I said that the chief actuary within Social Security has said insolvency the fourth quarter of 2032. That's 7 years from now. This AI situation and the implementation of it and the layoffs and the elimination of jobs and humans from their work means the elimination of payroll taxes, means the elimination of income for Social Security, and means insolvency significantly faster. Okay, significantly faster. Like, I don't think there's enough emphasis being put on what's actually happening with this. Don't get me wrong, AI is going to be, well, it's probably going to be, I'm just going to say this, HE double hockey sticks for quite a few years until we get this figured out and tamed down. Right now, it's still kind of the wild, wild west when it comes to AI. But until they get regulation around this and until they get this thing tamed down before it takes over the world on all of us, this is going to cause havoc with a lot of different industries. And not only that, it's going to cause massive chaos and havoc within Social Security. There's some different things that they've talked about. In fact, I believe it was Bill Gates. We all know who Bill Gates is, right? I believe it was Bill Gates, maybe, I don't know, a year or two ago, proposed taxing robots. This guy was on the leading edge, right? He's saying, hey, and again, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person, but I'm pretty sure it was Bill Gates suggesting, hey, we should be implementing a tax on robots, right? They're working 24/7, 365. They don't complain. They don't get sick. They don't have personal days. They don't have vacation days. They don't talk back yet. They actually do. They actually do talk back, which is really weird, right? But point being is that they work nonstop. And, you know, humans, we can't work nonstop. We can work a few days in a row, but that's about it. We need to rest. We need time off. We need sleep. We need to eat. We need to do all kinds of things, right? We want personal days. We want vacations. We want to not be at work sometimes. So this is absolutely 100% coming. This is not me sitting here scaring anybody. All I'm saying is that I do not think there is enough emphasis being put on the massive ramifications coming for Social Security and the beneficiaries as a result of the implementation of AI. And it's here and now. It's already here, okay? So anyway, point being is that, okay, the chief actuary says, fourth quarter, 2032. Awesome. That's right now. That's right now, based on what we know right now. If we fast forward 1 year from now, September 2nd of 2026, that chief actuary might be coming back saying, yeah, things have changed in the last 12 months. Now we're looking at an insolvency of, the second quarter 2031 or something like that. And then a year later, September 2nd, again, I'm just saying September 2nd because that's what today is right now. The chief actuary could come back a year later after that and say September 2027 and say, yeah, whoa, this is getting scary, guys. Things have changed again. And now we're moving insolvency to, I don't know, the first quarter of 2030 or something like that, right? We're really compressing and we're contracting on this timeline and this time frame. Not good. Not good at all. Okay. And again, not here to scare anybody. I'm not here to say, oh, let's prepare, let's get a bunch of canned food. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I mean, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm just saying. But my point being is that, hey, we really need to get some emphasis put on this whole AI thing, this whole automation, this whole replacement of humans, as well as this whole insolvency thing. We're not that many years out from right now. And then the next 3 years, our world is going to look very, very scary different. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to explain all this for you really quickly here, okay? So anyway, that's what the chief actuary is saying, and I wanted to explain some other key points for you there as well, so we can all understand this whole situation that we're dealing with right now and kind of where we go from here. Does all this kind of make sense? A little bit for what it's worth as of right now, okay? So only thing we can do is just wait and just see. That's about all we can really do. We can't really, I don't know, we can't really say like with 100% certainty this or that or the other thing is going to be happening. But with a high probability of certainty, we know that massive things are changing and that ultimately it's going to impact Social Security. Now, another thing I didn't mention, I'm just going to throw it out there super fast. The cuts to benefits, the 19% cut to benefits that they've talked about, would be implemented based on the numbers right now, and if they combine the old age and survivors as well as the disability trust funds. Why would they do that? Why would they combine the trust funds? To me, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Disability benefits are totally fine with no intervention for more than 75 years. Disability benefits, as in SSDI benefits, are totally fine. Why would they take down both programs? But they would, because that's their plan. They want to combine the trust funds to give them about 1 year more of of solvency before insolvency, okay? Makes no sense to me. Why would you ruin a good thing, okay? The problem is the Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund. That's the one that we have problems with. That's the one that pays out benefits to seniors on retirement benefits, retirement benefits, survivors benefits, spousal benefits. That's the one that pays those benefits. The Old Age and Survivors Trust Fund, about 60 million people there on those benefits, and that's the trust fund that we need to worry about. That's the one that is in jeopardy becoming insolvent, okay? But here's the thing, remember, 19% cut if they combine the two trust funds, bad idea in my opinion, or a 23% cut if they just have the insolvency trust fund go insolvent, that one alone, okay? So it's a bigger cut to benefits if they do not combine the trust funds. But here's the thing, these projections are based on today's numbers. If we fast forward 3, 4, 5 years, something like that, as we get closer and closer to potentially insolvency, and if nothing has been done by that, these percentages would be a wish at that point, okay? Here's why. These numbers are going to get significantly larger at that point. If we fast forward 5 years out in the future, obviously, and if we look at a potential cut to benefits at that point, we're not going to be talking about a 23 or a 19% cut. We're probably going to be talking like a 44 or like a 39% cut. We're going to be talking significantly larger cuts for the reasons that I just explained to you. Less people working, less people paying into Social Security payroll taxes. And then remember, if they actually do go insolvent, what do they lose? They lose one source of income. Remember, Social Security has 3 sources of income. Taxation on payroll, right? So payroll taxes, again, about $1.4 trillion of money last year, the largest source of income for Social Security by a long shot. Next is interest on the money in the trust fund. If the trust fund is empty, there's no interest on the money. You don't get interest on $0. That's not how the world works, right? You don't get a return on $0. So point being is that was $69 billion last year. If the trust fund goes insolvent, that's $69 billion that's no longer there. Obviously, that number will continue to deplete every single year as the trust fund continues to draw down more and more and more. So that $69 billion will get smaller and smaller technically every single year. But that's a source of income that'll be totally gone because the trust fund is empty, no return on the money. That's right. It's like a savings account. Think of this. You could have a savings account that yields 10% interest. But if you have $0 in the savings account, you get $0 of interest, right? It's not that hard to figure out, right? So that's the situation there. And then obviously the other third source of income is taxation on Social Security benefits. And again, that was $55 billion last year that seniors had to cough up and to pay in through Social Security, taxation of the monthly benefit. So there you go. Does all that make sense at all? I hope so. If not, drop some comments down below. Let me know what else I can do for you. Just want to point this out for you really quickly. And again, I've said this a few times so far. I'm going to say it again really quickly. I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm not here to instill fear or worry into anybody whatsoever. I'm just here so you can have a clear understanding of what's going on. And not only that, I just really want to emphasize how no one is making such a big deal about this. And I think this is one of those situations where like nobody's thinking about the big picture. Hey, okay, we got the most recent numbers out of the Board of Trustees report. Okay, that's cool. But are we looking into the future and seeing, hey, gee, this is weird. Things are changing. The workforce is depleting. It's getting very low, as in the labor participation rate is getting very low, 62.2%, which is historically very low. In other words, 62.2% of our population is working. That means that 37.8% of our population, no work, no bueno, I think is what they say, right? So point being is that that's a problem. The less and less people working means less and less money going into Social Security, okay? Less and less money available for the people that are drawing on benefits. That's what that translates into. So just want to point that out for you really quickly. All right, anyway, I'm here for you anyway that I possibly can be. Again, drop some comments down below, your questions, anything like that. I will come back in a separate video, a dedicated video, another live stream. I can certainly talk about this in greater detail. A lot of things that are happening right now, okay? I'm here for you anyway that I possibly can be. Hey, again, as always, I've been getting so many comments recently from people that have reached out to the phone number. It's not here on the screen now. Usually in live streams, I go like that. Hey, phone number right there. It's not there. Phone number right there. Wait, it's not there. Hey, what's going on? Where's my phone number? Well, I'm doing this live stream a little bit differently today, so no phone number there for you, but look around on the channel. Look at any other video here on the channel. I have the phone number there for you. It's 100% free. About 5,000, actually almost 5,000 of you here in this community have already called them. I'm getting comments daily from people here in this community that have reached out saying, hey, I called Chapter. They helped me with this much, that much. This helped me save all this money, whatever. I made a community post today. Ed Fitzpatrick reached out to me the other day via email. He is saving $170 a month, which is $2,040 a year after making a quick phone call. $2,040 a year, $170 a month. Would that help you out a little bit? Yeah, a little bit, right? Exactly. Miriam McGee, she reached out, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. She's saving $1,200 a year, $100 a month. Harold L. is saving $79 a month. That's about $1,000 a year. Ken Johnson, he reached out, I don't know, maybe a month ago now. He reached out $174 a month, $2,088 a year. Again, the list goes on and on. I could sit here and rattle off all kinds of names. Oh, what is it? Kathy McClurry, I think it is. Kathy McClurry, she reached out a few times in the last week or so. She's saving $2,000 a year, according to what she said. Vikings Bears, they reached out last week. Again, they're saving $1,000 a year from calling the phone number. Again, I could sit here and go on and on and on with all these different names. A lot of people reaching out. Point being, if you're on Medicare, if you're one of the 70 million people on Medicare, give them a call. It's 100% free. Phone number's not here on the screen right now. I'll put it down below in the description. Actually, down below in the top of the chat box. If you're here live right now, the top of the chat box, you might see a phone number there. I'm not sure if I put it there or not, or if Corey put it there. But you might see the phone number there. Give them a call. See if you're on Medicare, it's 100% for free. Just give them a call. They'll talk through. They'll ask you a few questions to understand your situation, and they will look through the 20,000 plans they have access to see, hey, can you get a better plan? Could you be more properly covered? Could you get additional benefits alongside your monthly plan, like an OTC benefit, a grocery benefit, some type of monthly allowance? They do this, okay? Have you asked about that? They have that. A lot of plans offer that. Obviously, I don't know which plan is best for you. That's the part about working with the trusted advisors. Again, with the phone number, they will help you with that. They're the professionals. They're super knowledgeable about it. They have access to the plans. They can certainly help you out with that. But anyway, they're going to ask you a few questions to understand your situation and yeah, see what they got for you. Seriously, give them a call. Phone number, I think it's down below at the top of the chat box. Check it out there. Otherwise, check out any other video here on the channel. It should be there on the screen for you. It should be just here on the channel. Otherwise, I will put a link, or actually the phone number, I should say, down below at the top of the chat, the comment section here when I'm done with this live stream, as well as in the description of this video. I will put the phone number there. Give them a call. After you talk to them, leave a comment on any video. Use the word chapter within your comment. That's the keyword I search for, by the way, and I'd love to give you a shout out in a future video, just like Kathy McCleary, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Shout out to her. Again, $2,000 a year after making the call. Ed Fitzpatrick, again, saving $2,040 a year, $170 a month after making the quick call, and all the other people that I've talked about. All right, anyway, it's incredible. And again, it's totally free to call them. So anyway, call them if you want. If you don't want to, then definitely don't call them, okay? They're very busy helping all kinds of people. If you're not interested, that's totally fine. Doesn't matter to me. All I'm trying to do is help you to save some money, okay? But anyway, if you're on Medicare, one of the 70 million people, if you're turning 65 or if you're retiring in the next 6 months or so, if any of that applies to you, call them. And then lastly, remember, annual enrollment starts in a month and a half. Starts in a month and a half. If you call them, you'll get bumped to the front of the line and you'll be there and ready on their books for annual enrollment. You will be prepared. If you wait until annual enrollment, be prepared to wait. Reason being is 70 million people, seniors, will be calling that phone number down below in the description, at the top of the chat box, at the top of the comment section. It will be in the description. 70 million seniors will be calling that phone number to get help with their Medicare. They're going to be swamped. They're going to be very, very busy. If you call them now, you jump in front of the line. Nobody wants to wait in line. If you call now, you get jumped in front of the line. You get on the books, and then they can help you. Seriously, absolutely amazing, 100% free. All right, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. My little room here is getting very hot. I want to get out of here. I'm just like, I'm really overheated right now, and this video is getting pretty long. All right, so anyway, please subscribe if you're new here. I appreciate it. Big subscribe button down below. Check out the other videos here on the channel. And call the phone number. And again, leave me a comment. Use the word chapter. And I really look forward to hearing what they have to say and how much they can help you out. By the way, share that phone number as well. If you share the phone number, leave a comment on any video. Use the word chapter. Tell me who you shared it with. And also, I'll give you a shout out in a future video. All right, anyway, enjoy your day. Take care. Thanks for watching this. Really appreciate it. I hope this helps you. And if you're here right now, you may want to click off now. If you don't want to, that's totally fine too. But I'm going to unplug the mic and my phone will start talking. And that might be annoying. Just saying. All right, anyway, enjoy. Thanks for watching this. Really appreciate all of you. Subscribe and I'll catch you later. Okay, here we go. Unplug this. Hit some buttons.